You're listening to Tavern Sports Radio Network.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Welcome to the 39th episode of Show Me the Money, brought to you by Tavern Sports. Lock standings sitting right now, it looks like myself is sitting at 2-0, and the rest of the squad are all 1-1 right now.
Memorial Tournament, Dublin, Ohio. This is previous winner, Victor Hovland. Some big names you guys could look at in this one. Obviously, we're going to have Scheffler. We're going to have Schauffele. All the big names are back for this one after taking last week off. Ludwig Oberg is going to be in this field. Zalatoris, all the big name guys that are still on the PGA side. Unfortunately, none of the live guys isn't a major. Notably missing, though, was winner of last week's tournament, Bob McIntyre. He said he wasn't going to play on Monday of this week, which is kind of surprising coming off of a win, not wanting to maybe carry that over into the next week. But do you guys have any picks for the Memorial this weekend?
Every time we talk about golf, I feel like we always just fall back on betting on Scotty because he's been playing so good this year.
You can get Scotty at plus 360 right now. Obviously, they haven't hit a shot yet. By the time people are able to listen to this and would be able to place a bet, maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but more than likely they would have hit a shot by then. But
I can't remember. I think you were talking about Ludwig, right? You were
talking about
he's plus 2,500 to win before any shots are made. Morikawa's 1,400, Xander's 900, Rory's 900, Victor, as Tyler said, last year's winner, 1,800. Patrick Cantlay, also 2,500. It's big numbers because it's Wednesday. Come the end of the round tomorrow, obviously they'll be different. I'm trying to find three balls or best balls.
It's going to be
only two balls for Thursday. Okay,
it's going to be two ball for Thursday. Some decent lines in here. Let me get those pulled up. So they have Sahith Theegala and Russell Henley pretty much at a pick'em. Russell Henley is the favorite in that, but if you like Sahith, like I do, getting him at minus 105 is not a bad number at all there. Let's find some of the bigger name guys on here, though. Rory is minus 165 versus JT. Finau minus 165 against Patrick Rogers.
Cantlay, you skipped Cantlay, just minus 150 against Wyndham Clark.
Cantlay just doesn't do it for me.
But Wyndham then at plus 110.
Yeah, I haven't really had a good feeler on either of those guys so far this year. But Morikawa at minus 175 versus Hideki seems a little intense. And Scotty Scheffler, not known necessarily for coming out of the gates super hot. He hasn't in his last two appearances anyway. He's minus 230 against Ludwig Oberg. Oberg at plus 175 could be good value there if you like him to get out of the gates a little bit better than Scotty.
Last time Ludwig was out, he fucking crashed and Bernie missed the cut. So that's probably why it's that high. But at plus 175, I wouldn't mind a little sprinkle on Ludwig there.
Yeah, you're getting the returning champ Hovland at plus 105 against Schauffele, coming off of the big win. Goddamn, where was it at? In Valhalla. Sorry. So Schauffele's minus 150 if you'd like him to keep it going. If you like Hovland to repeat or at least come out hot, he's plus money right now. So fun little two ball lines you could definitely look at there. I'm going to go into the finishing positions. Schauffele, Morikawa, McIlroy, Hovland, and Oberg are all plus money, almost plus 200 or above to finish in the top 5. For top 10s, you can get Hovland 150, Xander Schauffele at minus 110, Oberg at plus 240 to top 10 this one after missing a cut. If you like him to bounce back, that's a good number to get a top 10.
You can get Oberg even money minus 105 for a top 22.
I kind of like Morikawa to finish top 5 at plus 280. I'm seeing that he finished top 5 in 3 of the past 6.
Okay, so. That's a good look. So if you were to take Morikawa to finish top 5 at plus 280, let's put Oberg just in that top 20 number because we're getting a good price on it at minus 105. And let's go ahead and take Scheffler in the top 5 as well with Morikawa and just do a little 3-legger there. That's plus 1287. Granted, you're calling 2 of the top 5, but big names, guys, you can traditionally trust. Just need them to really come out and shoot it well. I personally would take Morikawa out of the top 5 position and move him into the top 10. That 3-legger, yeah, that comes down to plus 739. So still really good price there. It's finicky. I'm using a daily fantasy system down here in Alabama because it's not legalized to actually bet. Don't know how this is, but I'm actually on a little 4-legger of Scotty Scheffler to have less than 69.5 strokes in round 1. So that'd be going 3 under or better. Xander to go 2 under or better. Oberg to go 1 under or better, and Tony Finau to go even par or better. That was plus 850. So I will go ahead and take a 8.5x on that daily fantasy lineup. So
just one other little parlay I threw together: Xander, Rory, and Ludwig to all finish top 20 plus 317.
That's actually really good value for a top 20 with 3 big name guys.
And Tyler, I know you got to throw in 4 names. So if you throw in Scotty, I mean, you go to 386, not really worth it. But you throw in Xander, you get to 466.
I can't place futures on this daily fantasy, but that is a drop back. But however,
Tyler, your guy Sahith Tagala. If I threw him in here, plus 901.
Backing it up to just like a 3 or 4-legger like you talked about, not with Scheffler involved, but I like how you put McIlroy in there. He finished really, really strong last weekend at the RBC, and he could look to continue that. Like, he was doing really, really well there. So something to look at as far as that goes.
Well, he looked good at the Players too.
Yeah, really, for sure. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at some of the guys from last week. If you're playing on a daily fantasy like I am, some of these lines are super soft. You're getting the round leaders in round 3 and in round 4 to only shoot 1 under, 2 under, which I ate that shit up, and I kind of took their lunch, honestly, from them last weekend on that, hitting a little 3-legger with Joel Damon, Robert McIntyre, and Ben Griffin. So dudes you've never even heard of, but I'm like, you're leading the tournament at 14 under after day 3, and you're only projected to go 1 under on the closing round. I'm going to eat your lunch on that. So be a smart gambler. If you see soft lines, hammer them, man. You got to do what you got to do, make some cash out here, but always bet responsibly or not. I don't fucking care. It's not my money. You're not going to affect my life.
But bet responsibly.
Do we want to move into the NBA Finals now? I mean, nothing's changed since we last talked. They still haven't played a game.
Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite for this?
I want to see
final.
I want to see the Mavericks win it because I would like to see the Celtics somehow implode. I don't think they will. They're making progress.
Kristaps isn't playing at least the first 2. That's the one piece of news that's came out since the last show.
I don't think it'll make a huge difference, but I personally want the Mavericks to win. However, I'm betting on it. I'm going to bet the Celtics to win. However, not at the 250 number. It was at 225 last week, so more money on the Celtics now down to minus 250. So I will not take that. Oh, sorry, that's the game. That's the
game total
was minus 250. I apologize.
They're minus 225 still on the series.
Okay, so it didn't change. It didn't change. My bad.
Kyrie has gone down on his MVP odds to plus 1,800. I think he was plus 2,000 last week, if I remember correctly.
He was higher than 1,800. I know that.
Kristaps, who we mentioned is going to be out a couple of games, is at plus 3,300. Yeah, I mean, Kristaps being out, I think Luka and the boys might be able to get one on the road, and I mean, that would be big if they could break serve on that. It's just gonna be hard, but I mean, maybe this is a bold take, maybe it's not. Luka, in my opinion, is the best player under the age of 25 in the NBA. So if someone's gonna do it, it could be him. I wish the Mavs would go out and get him a little bit of help in the offseason so he doesn't have to do this completely alone. But
he got Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean, he's not completely alone, but if they lose here,
they have no big men. They have no front court.
But no, I think money wise, it's smart to bet on the Celtics to win the series or to win the finals. But something's pulling me towards the Mavericks. I kind of want to bet on at least player points or anything like that, like Luka over on points and assists.
Luka first baskets plus 700 tomorrow.
I still think if you think that the Mavericks are going to win this, go ahead and don't even take the Mavericks to win this series. If you're
down,
well, if they lose game one, get that price at a better price, or take Luka to win the MVP or Kyrie to win the MVP, and you're going to make more money that way before the season or the series even starts. Because
Luka, not really with Luka, you win an extra 5 cents on the dollar. So at that point, I would take the Mavs just so you don't have to sweat that part of it. But Kyrie for sure.
Well, I mean, if you lay a heavier unit on Luka, then a way heavier unit on Luka, or your traditional unit, the traditional unit you want to place on the Mavericks that you would place on them for the series outright winner. Go ahead and place that on Luka, and then place a quarter unit, a half unit on Kyrie, and then you're winning 9, or you're winning a quarter of 18. What the fuck is that, Josh? Quick math. Go.
4,500 or 450.
Yeah. So you're winning 4.5 units off of a quarter unit bet. Either way, it's going to be good odds there for you. So I would go that route. Yeah. So that's just my personal opinion, but I definitely do think the Celtics win this one. They've been due for a while. They've been there, done that. Not necessarily in the finals, but have gotten there more consistently. So going to be interesting. I think there is a chance that if Jaylen Brown does play head up on Luka, it could turn into a dogfight, but I don't expect that to happen the entire series.
Speaking of Luka, I found a fun little bet. It might be fun to throw just a little bit of money on. It's a NBA Finals records bet. It's any player to break Elgin Baylor's single-game NBA Finals points record, which is 62 points. If anyone's going to beat that, I think Luka would be the person to beat that. He's gone over 60 multiple times this year, and that's plus 5,500.
So I mean, it could be fun. Could be a fun little.
It could be a fun bet. That's just something I was looking at and found. That's something I might even just throw $1 on.
I mean, could be fun to watch.
But yeah, I mean, but nothing's changed, like we said. So let's move on. Before we go to NHL, one thing we do get the opportunity to talk about because of weather happenings and the fact that we're here tonight, the College World Series for softball starts today. I guess actually it does start today. Interesting enough, it's the Red River rivalry. It's Texas and Oklahoma. You get Oklahoma at minus 136, Texas at plus 106. I've kind of there's somebody on my Facebook that's like deep into this, and
Are they Oklahoma or are they Texas?
yeah, they're heavy on like they consistently
Oklahoma.
think Oklahoma's the best team in the country. So, and I'm not saying this person's a sharp or anything. Like I'm not saying that at all. But like, if she's right, Oklahoma at minus 136 to win the series might not be that bad.
I've only ever heard anything about Oklahoma softball, so
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma is a traditional powerhouse in softball, especially as of late. And by as of late, I mean in the last decade. They were in a battle with Florida to get here. They were actually down a game to Florida and had to win 2 in a row to get here. So they've got grit. They've got fighting them at minus 138. Not a bad number at all.
But we'll move on to NHL now. Stanley Cup's finally set. That's a big update since our last show. It's Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Headlights. I mean Oilers.
The whole world has the Oilers winning this.
Yeah.
The whole world.
Put the tits on the cup, man.
Shout out to her. She was an electric lady. She really boosted the boys
Heck of a pair,
in the series over Dallas. So, yes, traditionally, you guys, I think, are right. The public is more so on Edmonton. They had a little fan help from the viral video. If you don't know what we're talking about, just go ahead on X and look up Edmonton Oilers front porch is actually how it was. The original video was
That's great.
Stated as a front porch. So Edmonton, though, they have the players. They got Draisaitl. They have Hyman scoring a ton of goals. They obviously have McDavid, Nurse, Nugent Hopkins, guys on top of guys on top of guys. In my opinion, and what I think majority of the Sharps are taking is it's Stanley Cup Finals. You have a team that has been there recently and lost last year, Florida Panthers, going up against an Edmonton Oilers team who has not been here yet with this current core. They haven't been here.
I mean, they haven't been good in a very long time.
I mean, they've been a playoff team. They've kind of been like the Cowboys. They have the lineup. They make it to the playoffs. They flutter out. So this is new for them. The goalkeeping edge definitely goes to Florida in this lineup, or like in this series, with Bobrovsky over Stuart Skinner. If you think this is going to be a traditional Stanley Cup Finals, gritty, lower scoring, not as much of a track race, it's probably going to go to Florida. However, Florida could play the game where they're not trying to just be locked down, nitty-gritty. Florida can run. They can't run as much as Edmonton. They don't have as many guys. But Tkachuk, Reinhart, these dudes are serious dogs, serious goal scorers that can go out and get you one if they do decide to speed up the pace a little bit with Edmonton. However, I think that style of game really favors the Oilers. At minus 128, I'm going to take the Florida Panthers here, and I think home ice is going to be even stronger in this Stanley Cup Finals than ever before, as it is the longest distance in finals ever, or in the Stanley Cup Finals ever. These guys have to fly over 2,500 miles between Edmonton and Sunrise, Florida.
Well, what? And they're going to have to cross the border at least 3 times, absolute minimum, or 4?
No, it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So once minimum. I mean, if it goes
minimum
7,
twice,
3, yeah, minimum.
So
twice.
minimum twice.
Yeah.
Where are you finding that series number? I can't find a series number anywhere. I can find a game 1 number
on the Blue Book.
Yeah, I'm on the Blue Book. I'm not seeing a series number.
Go to NHL and then hit Stanley Cup instead of games, and it'll show you a series number. So there you have this as over-under number at 5.5. The over is juiced at minus 188. I like the over there. I don't think it'll be a gentleman's sweep. I think this goes minimum 6 games. So give me that over at minus 188. But Florida being minus 128 here is a good number to get them at. If they were to drop game 1, there's a very good chance with how tight this is. every game you'd be able to get yourself the underdog at plus money. If you bet it right, hedge it right, you're not going to make massive money off of it, but you're going to be able to at least find a way to make a little bit of money juggling that a little bit. The series spread, they have Edmonton at plus 1.5 games at minus 200. So not really any value there for the series spread, but again,
we want to talk Conn Smythe.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the direction we should head after that. Do you guys have an opinion on the series as far as who wins it?
I just like Edmonton, man. They took out Dallas. All of us liked Dallas earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not the hockey guy. Tyler's the hockey guy. But
I mean, they have the momentum right now. They have everything going with them for them.
Yeah. So Conn Smythe, that's the Finals MVP trophy in the NHL. I think shocking no one, but also kind of surprising because they aren't favored in the series. Connor McDavid at plus 200. I think that's 100% based off name recognition. So they know they can take that line lower. Because if he was his numbers with any random name, he'd probably be at least second fiddle to a Florida player. But yeah, so Connor McDavid plus 200. Tyler, how do you say Barkov's first name?
Oh, holy shit. Alexander.
Oh, it's Alexander.
Alexander Barkov.
So fucking stupid.
It caught me off guard there.
Yeah, that's just a Russian spelling. That got me. Plus 380. Sergei Bobrovsky, the goalie for Florida, correct?
Correct.
Plus 400. Matthew Tkachuk, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. He's plus 600. And then Leon Draisaitl is your second Edmonton Oiler, plus 950. And then just one other notable name, Nugent Hopkins is plus 50,000? Plus 50,000.
So you're right on a lot of these. McDavid being plus 200 is big on the name. Barkov's kind of the guy, like he's got this, he's the leader in the locker room for Florida at plus 380. If you're looking at the guys, though, that you're like, what are we going to do?
Your guy, Vladdy Tarasenko, former Blue, he's
That's
plus
correct.
50,000 as well.
I'm not leaning on him here in this series. I think he's a second to third line guy, depending on the night. He's not really going to get the burn to do that. So what I was looking at, actually, though, if you're looking at the guy, yes, everybody knows McDavid, everybody knows Draisaitl for the Oilers. However, in this playoffs right now, as far as like points go, fucking Zach Hyman is just absolutely insane right now.
14 plus 12,000.
Yes, plus 12,000. He has 14 goals in the playoffs right now. Draisaitl, who you said was at plus 950. He has 10 goals in this playoff series, or in the playoffs so far. So if you think it's going to be a goaltender, I mean, not a goaltender, those guys who are scoring a bunch of goals, running it up, great numbers on Hyman at plus 12,000.
Well, just to mention the other goaltender, sorry, Tyler, but Stuart Skinner for the Oilers is plus 13,000. I mean, who says he doesn't come out, stand on his head in game one, has a choppy series, but they get the win maybe in 6 and also stands on his head in 6. So he books in this series by standing on his head both games. Maybe they give it to him at plus 13,000.
I don't see it. He's a good goaltender.
Great ones are born in the finals, man.
I mean, that you're not wrong. However, I just don't see it right now. He's second behind Bobrovsky in playoff wins for a goaltender. Bobrovsky has 12, Skinner has 11. Obviously, that's why they're here. They're in the finals. If Edmonton is going to win this, I don't think it's going to be on goaltending. It'll be on goal scoring, which leans me towards McDavid. He has 31 points. That's assists or goals for any of you non-hockey heads out there listening. Draisaitl at 28, so he has 10 goals, 18 assists. And then sneaky one, Evan Bouchard at plus 1,000. He's third leader and third on the team for the Oilers in points for these playoff series at 27 points so far. So a lot of firepower, like I said, for this Edmonton team. Me personally, I'm taking Draisaitl. He offers more of the goal scoring and more and the assists, whereas McDavid's kind of at a bad is leading the playoffs in points. He's at a bad playoffs for his standards or his hype around him. So if he wakes up, him at 200 is not a bad line at all.
But right now, at the same time, if they come out and lose game one and maybe Connor has a point, I bet you that number goes to 500.
What did you say Zach Hyman was at for goals this playoff? Whole playoffs?
14. And isn't he the favorite to be the highest goal scorer in the series right now?
I think so. He's also...
give me a second to look. Yes, he is favorite plus 370. Sam Reinhart for Florida's plus 470 to be second. Connors plus 500. Draisaitl plus 600.
You could also bet on Hyman to score 19 plus or 20 plus for to tie a record for most goals in a single postseason, or break it, with 19 plus being plus 450 and 20 plus to break the record is plus 1,000 right now.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, like we talked about with the NHL or the NBA bet, but going back to Conn Smythe, some of these guys, we talked a lot about Edmonton's guys. Let's talk a little bit about Florida's guys for this one. So the leader being Barkov and Bobrovsky, the goaltender. There's a chance Bobrovsky faced a ton of shots from this high-powered offense of Edmonton, like I just mentioned. And he stands on his head, and they win this one, and he'd be well-deserving of it. Barkov, on the other hand, for Florida, he's kind of just their guy overall. I'm trying to pull up his goals and points so far in this playoff series. He is, there's Verhaeghe, Reinhart, Barkov. He has 6 goals and 11 assists, so 17 points in this playoffs. He shares that with Connor Verhaeghe. He has 9 goals and 8 assists for 17 points. Also on Florida, Reinhart at 12 points total with 8 goals, 4 assists. I would say if I'm going Florida here, I'm going to go with Bobrovsky, and thinks he stands on his head, facing a ton of shots, and gets this done for Florida. That's my pick at plus 400 right now. Strictly because if they win game one and Barkov doesn't do a whole lot, he's going to move in front of Barkov. I think you can get Barkov at a better price later down the road. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that comes out and hat tricks game one, lowering his odds like crazy. So that's kind of where I stand with that one.
What do you want to talk about next?
I mean, next we're going to get into our bread and butter if we have no other tournaments to talk about. Okay, yeah.
What about the UFC 303 fight? Conor McGregor is out of the fight.
302 has to happen first.
302 just happened this weekend.
My bad.
Yeah.
John Strickland beat Paulo Costa on split decision, which was notably a massive fuck up. There was a terrible judge on the card out in New Jersey, I believe it was, that Dana White even came out afterwards and said this guy needs to go back down to like minor league fights and earn his way back up to judging. Some wild scorecards there. Kevin Holland notably breaking his opponent's arm. And then in the final fight of the night, Islam tapping out Poirier in
2 minutes left in
the final round. Kind of a heartbreaker, but Poirier showed a lot of fight in that. He showed grit. However, after the fight, he did say he wasn't retiring, but he could see this as being the end for him. so that'll be an interesting story to look in on. More current news, like you said, 303, a lot of drama going around it. They don't know if it's going to happen or not. McGregor's kind of iffy.
Hearing McGregor's done, and I'm hearing Volk might be replacing.
Yeah. I mean, there's just been a whole lot of controversy about Conor. This fight's been built up forever. They were both on not the Contender Series. What is the name of their big ass show?
Like
Ultimate Fighter. They were coaches on Ultimate Fighter, notoriously the coaches on Ultimate Fighter Fight. This is what this fight was supposed to be. That is on June 29th, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see if McGregor makes the fight or not. The press conference scheduled for Monday was canceled at very late notice. So don't really know what that was all about. But yes, Volk could be the guy to step in. However, he's coming off 2 losses to Islam, 1 by knockout. That was pretty gruesome, pretty ugly. So we'll see with that and how that plays out. But I haven't even really looked at the rest of the card. It's not all that impressive of a card besides McGregor and Chandler. If we don't see McGregor here, it'll probably be the last time we see McGregor because he's already been out for 2 years with that broken leg. I think before we move on, we definitely need to talk about the Padres player getting a lifetime ban.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
For sports betting. He hit notoriously low at 3.4% of his bets. Dude wasn't a superstar by any means. He was not a household
He must have
name.
been following Cole's coattails a lot.
One of us.
One of us for sure. So MLB cracking down real fucking hard on a lifetime ban for this guy. I definitely think this guy kind of got smacked down extra hard in comparison to with what happened earlier in the season of Ohtani and that scandal. It's come out that it wasn't
Ohtani didn't place a bet.
Yeah,
he was helping out a buddy.
It's come out. It's not Ohtani at all. It was the interpreter. So I think the MLB though is like, we've had enough of this shit. We've had enough controversy. Lifetime ban for you, and we hope to never see this pop back up again. Which, you know, I don't blame them for doing that at all. It's definitely needed, and that dude needs to listen to our show more so he can hit more than 3.4% of his 231 bets. That came out to 9.95 or something bets that he actually hit. I don't know how you hit 9.95 of your bets, but let's just round it up. He hit 10 bets out of his 231, notoriously 0 for 25 when betting on Pirates games when he was a member of the Pirates. He was just inactive in all those games. Absolutely hilarious. Dude's dog shit.
I want to see
betting.
Pete Rose's hit numbers.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some numbers to bring up. However, let's flip it to the positive side. Former Duke baseball player Chad Knight was eliminated from the College World Series contention, effectively eliminating him. Well, not eliminating him, but
ending his collegiate career.
Yes, ending his collegiate career, and he's probably not going on to play in the majors. He tweeted out, "Goodbye, college baseball. Hello, DraftKings." So he at least waited, allegedly. I mean, you're suspecting he waited.
There's no way he did if he's tweeting at him immediately, bro.
What's the NCAA going to do to him now? The brother's out of there. So good for you, Chad Knight. Welcome to the dark side. Hope you go and turn into Show Me the Money, brought to you by Tavern Sports, and we can get you some wins on that.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you tired of the same old boring shirts? Well, we've got something exciting for you. Introducing the Tavern Sports Pocket Tee, where style meets passion for the game. Whether you're a diehard fan or just like the environment, Tavern Sports has got you covered, literally. The best part, because you're listening to Show Me the Money, you can use the code $$ to get 15% off today. So what are you waiting for? Head over to tavern-sports.square.site right now and elevate your game day experience. Tavern Sports. Beer, betting, sports.
Now, let's get into our bread and butter, Josh.
Yeah, so last week we gave you guys a little bit of a taste with the Notre Dame win totals, and we told you this week we would be doing Big Ten, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Looks like we have, 6 or 7 teams that we're going to talk about from the Big Ten, some of the big names, and then a couple of our personal favorites. But before that, the NCAA announced today or yesterday the official dates, times, and what bowl games will be taken up by the new 12-team playoff. So just listen to this rundown. This is a month of football. December 19th, Browns Bengals. December 20th, 21st, college football playoff round 1. December 21st, Texans and Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens. The December the 22nd, 12 NFL games. The 23rd, Saints at Packers. 25th, Christmas, Chiefs and Steelers, Ravens and Texans. 26th, Seahawks and Bears. Go Bears. Couple days off. On the 29th, 12 more NFL games. On the 30th, Lions, 49ers. New Year's and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, college football playoff quarterfinals. On the 5th, so a 4-day break in there, 16 NFL games. 4 days after that, you have the first semifinal games. The next day, you have the semifinal games. Then that weekend, you get the wild card games. The week after that, you get the divisional games. And then the Monday after the NFL divisional games, you get the national championship. What a month of football.
That's a month of football right
That's
there.
a month of football. Wow. Not to mention, you also get every other bowl game in there too. Every bowl game in there. That's going to be fucking great. The pocketbook is going to be in a lot of pain. But that's okay.
Not if you follow our picks, though.
Very true. Very true. Let's get things started, though, with this Big Ten talk. Firstly, any rank that we give out is going to be from 24/7 Sports. So if you see a different one, get fucked. That's the one we stole from. Iowa, we're obviously going to start with Iowa. We're all Iowa guys except for Clark. We will talk about his Cyclones here in probably 2 weeks, if I had to guess. Iowa's win total is 7.5. I meant to look up the last time Iowa won less than 8 games. It's definitely been a few years. I know that for a fact. But I can't give you the exact
I think you guys have won over 8 games for at least a decade in a row.
Almost. No, it's not. It hasn't been that long. Because every 5-6 years, Iowa has a pretty bad year.
That's fair.
But so I just don't know if we're due for one or not. But anyhow, we had the 76th ranked transfer class. There really isn't any notable names from scrolling the list. I didn't recognize anyone. One name came up twice. I think we can guess. Caden Proctor. Fuck you. He transferred in, transferred out. We didn't really have anybody notable leave in the transfer portal. We had one wide receiver. He redshirted last year, so he's a freshman. See you later, Stinky. And then also we lost Cooper DeJean, Eric All, and Torrey Taylor were our 3 most notable draft picks that we lost. And I mentioned Torrey because I don't think that can be understated. No one gives a fuck that Deacon Hill transferred to Ethan.
So
did Petrus.
Gonna be healthy?
Sorry.
Is he going to be healthy?
Who's that?
Your QB, Cade.
Yeah, McNamara should be healthy by week 1.
I just saw a video of him hobbling God knows how long ago. So.
And then Iowa also brought in the number 32 ranked recruiting class. Shouldn't it be anything crazy? Iowa's not known for starting freshmen. Our best recruit was a 4-star linebacker, and we do love our linebackers, so maybe the kid gets a little run, but I'd be surprised. Or no, I'm sorry, we also had a 4 or 5-star tight end. So, and we know what Iowa does with tight ends. But let's get into the schedule. So week
Before
one,
time out, before we do, just saying, if you guys see a nasty fucking fullback with the last name of Van Wetsinga, coached him in high school. He's a dog. Kirk had an interview where somebody asked about him, and he said he's making good progress and could potentially see the field this year. So if so, guy I fucking coached a little bit. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so week one, home against Illinois State,
Win.
FCS team. I'm gonna give it a win. I mean,
Win.
fight me if you want.
We win by 3 points.
And that's a lot. in Iowa, that's a lot. Week two, the classic Cyhawk game.
It's a win for you guys.
Really? I was going to give it to you.
I still think our team's a little young. We were really young last year.
But the reason I'm giving it to you, I was going to give it to you is because of your quarterback. A true
That's
freshman
fair.
last year or a redshirt freshman?
I think it was
Anyhow,
true.
you're bringing in a quarterback that has experience in this game.
Yeah.
He understands this moment. Iowa lost a lot of key guys. I could see you guys getting this. It's been a few years since y'all took
what
one.
happens. Let's see what happens week one, because you can tell every year how the game's going to go week two.
For sure. And then Iowa, also week three, also in Iowa City, bringing in mid-major from the Sun Belt Conference, Troy, local team for Tyler and I here.
Troy might beat us. Troy might beat us this year. Troy is a good football team.
But they did lose Troy lost their running back, who was the heart and soul of their team. He was the best player on their team. We'll see. I'm not going to give Troy, for the extents and purposes of this, I'm not going to give Troy a win over us. So I'm going to say we're 2-1. Maybe we beat Iowa State and lose to Troy. Either way, I'm going to say
they were
2-1.
first in the Sun Belt last year.
They were.
Well, the Sun Belt West, I believe. Yeah, Sun Belt West. But I'm calling it now. They at least cover the spread against us, if not beat us.
If the spread's going to be 10 plus, and they'll cover. So then after that, we get into 1, our first away game, and 2, our first conference game. There's no more Big Ten West and East. It's just the Big Ten. We start out going into Minnesota playing the Golden Gophers.
Notable rematch from the fair catch game last year on Cooper DeJean.
It was not a fair catch.
We want the fucking pig back.
Yeah,
but
that's our pig.
The Rosedale Trophy, the Floyd of Rosedale, living in Minnesota right now. I think it might stay in Minnesota.
I'm getting a lot of pessimistic vibes from you right now, Ty, on Iowa this year.
Well, we had the worst offense in the country last year.
We fired our coordinator.
And we added absolutely nobody to help.
Not wrong.
So you're taking a 133rd in the country, I believe it was last, and you're going to take them to maybe 100th in the country. Kirk's not going to let whoever comes in fucking spread us out and run 5 wide. Like, that's just not the case.
But you don't think the 100th best offense and the 5th best defense can win 10 games? Can win 8 games? That's all they have to win is 8.
No, because we don't have Torrey Taylor to flip the field.
The next game, after that, we're definitely losing.
The over-under is 7.5. They're going to drop one of these first 4 games.
Probably, I think it'll be to State. I think we lose to State this year. My money won't say that when it comes time to talk with money. But right now, today, on June 5th, 2024, I think State could get us.
All right. And the next one, definitely a loss.
Definitely
at
a loss.
Ohio State. At Ohio State, we're about to get our fucking teeth kicked in. No need to talk about it anymore. We've seen what we did against Michigan in a bowl game in the conference championship game last year. This Ohio State team is better than that. Better than that Michigan team, because they were the national champions.
But they're better than they were last year, and they played a tough game against Michigan State.
Yes. Against Michigan, not State.
Michigan, sorry.
Ohio State is going to kick our fucking teeth in. No need to go any farther on that. I'm going to probably prop bet this up to another touchdown to 10 points higher than what the initial betting line is. I bet Ohio State blows us the fuck out.
Yeah, well, and Ohio State actually has a real quarterback this year, so that'll help them a lot.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, though. After we get our teeth kicked in by Ohio State, we get Washington. Now, we were all high on Washington last year. They lost everybody. Anyone that didn't go to the NFL or graduated transferred out, and they got a new coach. I'm going to give this one to Iowa. That didn't bring his quarterback. I'm going to give it to Iowa.
I agree.
They got to put in a new culture. Like I already said, they lost everyone. They lost their top 3 wide receivers. They lost their quarterback. They lost their running back in the transfer portal. They lost both tackles. They lost 2 pieces of their secondary to the transfer portal and 2 others to the draft. They lost their best linebacker to the draft. They were decimated. They have to start over.
I agree Iowa should win this game. However, Iowa doesn't face a lot of spread them and run them offenses. Like, I'm sure Washington is going to keep that mantra of the old Pac-12, like, we're going 5 wide on offense. We're slinging the fucking pill. That's what their coach did at Arizona. I wouldn't be surprised if he kept it up. That's his coaching style. So the thing is, in this game, is can Iowa's abysmal offense affect a poor defense? That's going to be the key here. I think Iowa comes out on top because, like you said, whole new coacher, whole new coaching staff, whole new everything. So Iowa should be able to beat them here, but I would not be surprised if this was a loss. It does help that this game is in Iowa.
The next game, though, is not in Iowa. At Sparty. This is not the Sparty of the early to mid-2010s. This Sparty's bad. This Sparty's been bad for a very long time. Michigan State is not the same Michigan State that they used to be. I think we're not going to talk them. Their win total's 4.5, if I remember correctly when I was looking. I'm giving it to Iowa.
Yes, agreed.
I don't know anything about this.
It better be Iowa. It better be Iowa.
Next 2 are at home. Former Big Ten West opponent Northwestern. They have like a 5.5 win total. Should be a win. Northwestern hasn't been good in a while. Yeah, Tyler, any opinion?
I mean, if we don't beat Michigan State and Northwestern, just go ahead and take Kirk out back and put him down like the old family dog. But
I mean, that's the classic Iowa mantra, though. Iowa loses 2 games in the bad year because we're due for a bad year. We really are. But whenever we have a bad year, everyone wants Kirk's head. The next year we come back and win 10 fucking games and everyone's sucking his cock and he gets a new contract. So Kirk Ferentz, by the way, highest paid state employee in the state of Iowa.
You would like to see Iowa beat Michigan State, Northwestern,
Wisconsin. We should rattle off 4 wins after the Washington game for sure.
I think Wisconsin.
Wisconsin will be tough.
I think
Wisconsin win total is also 4.5.
There's no way.
Really?
Let me check.
It's got to be at least like 5 or something, 5.5 or something. I mean, maybe 6. I don't know because last year wasn't great for them. They got the new coach from where was it? Cincinnati. I don't know. I think they could still be building something there.
Ooh, they did get the coach out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, they weren't amazing last year, but I think they're definitely building.
6.5 is
something.
Their win total. Sorry,
I still think they're building.
Luke Fickell is a dog.
I think they're building something. Whether it's going to be good this year or next year,
I think next year could be their year, but I don't know. I don't know about this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost to them, but
again, a game that it benefits us it being in Iowa, but I could see us losing this game.
The next one has Tyler in a fucking knot at UCLA. That is for the Iowa boys. That is
no. That's for UCLA Rutgers.
Oh, so okay. But yeah, so at UCLA in November, so it should be warm. In LA, obviously it's always warm in LA. UCLA is going to be very bad this year. Give Iowa the win there.
Yeah. I think there's another win in Maryland too.
Did you guys
Yeah.
see that UCLA is they've been trying to get out of that fucking game? Or is that USC no, it was USC trying to get out of the game with LSU. Never mind.
Oh,
Maryland,
Deshaun-
I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know anything about.
Who?
They're down their starting quarterback from the last few years in Talia Tungavaloa. So
Well, he was
definitely
dog shit, so
definitely a new quarterback coming in for this Maryland. But I don't know a whole lot about Maryland. But what I do know is Iowa loses a game they're not supposed to lose. So whether it be Northwestern,
or Troy.
it's either going to be Northwestern or UCLA or Maryland
Michigan.
is going to beat us.
I don't think it'll be UCLA, but the UCLA under is going to be very much so in play. The total of that game should be about 25.
what about the next game? What do you guys think about that? At Iowa.
Nebraska in Iowa. I mean, it's not the 90s. Everyone thinks every year Nebraska's going to be good. They haven't had anyone. They didn't have anybody drafted in the draft last year. They were that bad. They haven't had anybody drafted in day 1 or day 2 of the draft. The last 2 drafts, like every year, everyone thinks Nebraska's going to be good. They never are. Yes,
I don't
had
know.
a true freshman quarterback last year.
We only beat this team by 3 last year, and we
Mhm.
honestly shouldn't have won that game last year.
And
I
they've gotten
think
better.
Nebraska could beat us. I really do.
I think so.
I really
think
do.
Matt
I mean,
Rule-
it's Iowa, Nebraska. I'm not going to say they can't beat us, but like they're just
still have the better
always
core.
so bad, dude.
It's Matt Rule he's got the boosters fired up. I mean, like, dude's got it going over there, and I think it's time he gets one over Iowa. So, I
Okay,
think
so
this happens.
so let's work the schedule. We want to say a loss to either State or Troy, one of the two.
Mhm.
A definite loss to Ohio State.
Yep.
We'll give them Nebraska. That's 3. That gives you 9-3 in the regular season. So
I
I think there's another sneaky loss in there, maybe.
I mean, it gives you Washington, Wisconsin, and the other of Iowa State, Troy. They have to win 2 of those 3,
Which
and
is,
I think they go over.
yeah, I think they hit 8 wins.
I think
we're an 8 win.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bad year for Iowa, quote unquote, as an 8-win year. The losses are going to be really bad. Everyone's going to be calling for Kirkson.
I forgot that Dylan Raiola, the number 1 quarterback, switched to come and play at Nebraska. He did that in December. Worth noting. Yes, he transferred from Georgia, or flipped his commitment from Georgia.
Yeah,
So
I didn't know that.
So we want to go over.
but it's a freshman quarterback on his last game of the season. He's going to have experience by then. I'm going to take over tentatively. It's going to be 7 or 8 is what we're going to be at. I don't think we go 10 wins again. It's
Let's
not
see what
happening.
the defense is. Who knows? If it's another top 5 defense, it could be a 10-win season.
I mean, with your guys' defensive scheme is tough already as is. Like,
Yeah.
It's Iowa. We're not going to blow anybody out. All our wins are close. You know,
The
all our wins are going to
under-
be losses.
The under is in play in every game except for at Ohio State because they might cover on their own.
They probably will. Speaking of Nebraska, they're going to be the next team we're talking about because of how historically bad they are since the end of the 90s. Their win total is also 7.5. They have the 64th ranked recruiting class or transfer class, headlined by Jamal Banks, a wide receiver from Wake Forest, and Dante Dowdle, running back from Oregon. He was pretty good last year. I remember watching. No notable departures. No one left for the NFL draft. Number 18 ranked recruiting class, as Tyler mentioned, headlined by a 5-star. The fact that Nebraska still gets 5 stars is fucking wild to me.
A lot of money in those cornfields out there.
A lot of money.
Matt Rule has NFL experience. Wasn't great, but has NFL experience coaching. Able to get good guys in there. So, yes, Dylan Raiola leads that. Nebraska is at 7.5. Start off with UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa.
Win.
Whoa,
I think they.
slow down. We're not running through it that fast. UTEP, I agree. Northern Iowa, I won't argue with you.
Northern Iowa is what you want to argue, not Colorado?
No. I said I won't argue with you.
Yeah.
Colorado is where this fight's coming. And I promise you, this September 7th game, this week 2 game, one, it is a classic Big 12 rivalry. I mean, when you think Big 12 rivalry, you think this game. This game is going to set the course for both these teams' seasons. The winner of this game will easily destroy their over in win totals. I don't even know what Colorado's win total is. And they will be set on the fast track to a playoff spot. I don't know if they'll both make it in or if the winner of this game will make it into the playoffs, but this is going to be the hallmark stamp on both these teams' seasons.
I think even if they do beat Colorado, they're still going to be a 7-win team.
So let's get into it. I agree, Josh. I actually think Colorado gets them here.
I think Colorado gets them as well.
And just better offense, big game, a lot of lights.
Travis Hunter will be healthy.
Well, big game, a lot of lights for Dylan Raiola in his second ever game. He's going to get a tune-up against UTEP. UTEP's defense is not Colorado's defense. Colorado's defense last year was non-existent, but I hope they brought in some guys. And Deion's going to be better in year 2 than he was in year 1. Going to be a crazy game there. They're lucky it's at Nebraska.
Yeah, if this was in Colorado, I don't even think it'd be a contest.
But I think they lose that game to Colorado.
I agree.
And I agree they beat Northern Iowa. Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers are their next 3 games.
Indiana's the next 4th. Just throw Indiana in there.
Okay. I have no idea.
I mean, Purdue wins a game every year they're not supposed to. Illinois could be scary, but they could not be. I mean, they get Illinois at home, not in Champaign. That's big. If they can go they can go 5-0, counting the Northern Iowa game through October 19th. I mean, obviously that's 5 to try to get over 7. They obviously will hit it.
So you're saying if they go to October 19th and their only loss is to Colorado, at
that point they're a 6-win team, and their remaining games are UCLA, which I'm telling you, UCLA is going to be very bad this year. And then they have to get one between Wisconsin and Iowa, I think, yes. But they could drop one in here. They could drop one to Illinois.
Yes. When you're talking about Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, not really Indiana, but Nebraska, you are in the fucking weeds of the Big Ten Conference there. And those are games that you're not going to watch. You probably shouldn't bet on unless you're trying to find a game you can nap to. Fall asleep after the initial kickoff and wake up sometime in the third quarter. You're going to watch a 3-point game till the end of the fucking game.
Illinois is the best team out of the group, so let's just say they lose to Illinois. Yeah.
And then after that, atrocious stretch, they have Ohio State, big time loss.
Easy loss. And it's at Ohio State. Forget about it.
They get UCLA at home. I think they can win that game.
Mm-hmm.
USC.
What is USC this year?
Well, they looked really good. The
bowl
in the bowl game without Caleb. They had a handful of notable departures. They brought in a lot of help on defense. Their 3 most notable transfer portal guys were all defense, and their defense was horrible.
Miller Moss is going to be the starting quarterback.
This is a game that's going to be much more clear by the time we get to it, when we know what USC is. It being in LA makes me want to give it to USC, and because I think they're both going to be middling teams.
Yeah, USC losing Caleb Williams is going to have a lot of rebuilding to do. However, at USC, I think helps USC and hurts Nebraska. So I'd be happy to give that one to USC. So we have them right now losing Colorado, Illinois, Ohio State. USC is a tentative one. we all said we agree with them either losing to Wisconsin or to Iowa, right?
Yeah. And we
So
we gave them the win over Iowa when we talked Iowa, so let's just give Wisconsin the win to keep things clean.
Okay.
That's 5. That's 7-5. That would lead us to the under.
That's
And
what I said at the beginning. I was like, even if they beat Colorado, I still think they're a 17.
Yeah. Well, if they beat
Colorado, they'd go over.
But if they beat Colorado,
yeah.
here's my thought. If they beat Colorado, they're going to lose one in that atrocious stretch of Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana.
If they beat Colorado, though, I would not hesitate to flip what we said about the USC and the Wisconsin game. If they beat Colorado, I think they could be a 10-win team, realistically.
No, not with a rookie or with a rookie.
Fine, a 9-win team then.
But I say it's safe to take the under, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they got to 8 on the dot.
Yeah. It being Nebraska leads me to the under because of just how bad they've been the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
Let's get to a more exciting Big Ten team, a new Big Ten team in Oregon, whose over-under is 10.5. They were 11-1 in the 2023 regular season, only losing to Washington. They have the number 2 ranked transfer class, headlined by Evan Stewart, a wide receiver out of Texas A&M, Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback from Oklahoma, and Jabbar Muhammad, a cornerback from Washington. That is a massive turning of the tide.
I told you, they lost everyone, man.
Going from one side to the other. Notable losses were Bo Nix, Jackson Power Johnson, and Troy Franklin to the NFL. And Dante Dowdle left in the transfer portal. He went to Nebraska. Definitely wouldn't have made that fucking move.
No, bad choice.
Dante Dowdle. Number 3 recruiting class, no 5 stars, which is kind of surprising, but 22 4-stars. So let's dive into the weeds on this one.
So hang on one second. To hit the over, they have to go X and 1.
Yes.
So we have to find the 2 losses. I don't see any of them the first 4 weeks.
Well, let's hold on. Oregon State.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my caveat.
Well, let's dive in. Idaho is going to be probably a 60-point blowout win. Boise State will probably be a 35 to 42-point blowout win. Then they have to go into Oregon State. Who does Oregon State have at quarterback? Do you know?
Is this? It's not you.
Uwe.
I thought it was Uwe, but I thought I saw he transferred.
Did he?
I think he transferred.
If he transferred, then never mind.
I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but
no, he's there.
Okay.
He's
and
there.
Oregon State looked decent the first half of the season last year till they started looking really bad when we started putting money on them.
Yeah, literally.
I could see this being like a 10 to 14 point spread, and I would take Oregon State on the spread.
No, he's gone.
That's what I thought.
He's gone.
Where did he go?
He is gone.
I think he went to Maryland. I think he did.
What the fuck? Is he there or not? Transfers to Florida State. He's at Florida State now. Okay. Uyunglele out. I think they win. I think Oregon wins this game then. Never mind. Okay. I can't believe I missed him moving in the offseason and just learned about that right now. That's insane.
And then UCLA after that, I've said it once. I'll say it every time they come up when we're talking. I don't think they're going to be a good team this year.
Yeah. So with Uwe out at Oregon State, I think they go the first, 5 weeks undefeated and untested. Oregon State could be a test because it's at Oregon State, but I doubt.
They typically had a good defense last year. They could have a good defense again.
Yeah. But then they go Ohio State. Luckily, they're hosting Ohio State. A long trip for Ohio State. Guaranteed that is the 9 p.m. kickoff, 8 or 9 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah,
it is going to be Saturday night.
Fox night kickoff.
Yeah. Fox, it might be on ESPN. Like, this game's going to be crazy. Eugene, Oregon is going to be fucking raucous. However, I think with Ohio State being the favorite for the national championship, I would have to
I
give
think
them
this is the one you have to give up to take away from Oregon.
Yes.
So after a loss, presumably to Ohio State, they then have to go to Purdue. Could this be Purdue's win?
No.
No.
They got to do it to
No.
someone. They can't do it to Iowa this year. Okay, so we're shutting down the Purdue. Illinois goes out to Oregon. I don't see it. Then they have to go to Michigan.
That could be your second loss. But Michigan lost a lot of people.
Everybody.
Mhm.
And their coach.
And their coach. But does the environment, does 102,000 people in blue and maize flip the script here?
Nice.
I think this would be their,
I think Ohio State wins this game.
We're
talking about Oregon.
Damn.
I think Oregon wins this game though, Clark.
But I agree.
I think it could be interesting. Who does Michigan have at quarterback?
No freaking clue. We're gonna talk about Michigan next. So we're running long. Let's keep moving. They finish out Maryland, Wisconsin, Washington. I don't see an issue there.
No.
I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna say 11-1, and if they beat that Ohio State team, 12-0, and obviously if they do that, number one team in the country.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna take the over. If they catch 2 losses to the old powerhouses of the Big Ten, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But until we know what Michigan's going to be this year, I'm going to take Oregon there. So let's talk Michigan. They've been neutered. Their win total's 9.5. So to hit the over, they're going to have to go 10-2. Number 54 ranked transfer class. Obviously, it's going to be hard to attract people when you lose everyone. It's headlined by Jayshon Barham, I believe, a linebacker from Maryland, and Josh Pribby, offensive lineman from Northwestern. Notable departures: Keon Sabb, a safety, and Jeremiah Beasley, a linebacker. And then also J.J. Rome, Chris Jenkins, Jim Harbaugh, and a few other guys all went to the NFL. Number 16 overall recruiting class, no 5-stars, 17 4-stars. Let's get into it. Week 1, Fresno State, easy win for them. Week 2, Texas, who they get Texas at home. Luckily, it might be a neutral side. I'm not 100% sure. But
I don't know.
They're not going to beat Texas. Texas is a national championship favorite this year. I'm not going to give that one to them.
No.
We've been running for a while, so I'm going to try to keep us moving. Week 3, another cupcake, Arkansas State, easy win. Week 4, USC in Michigan. I think we give it to Michigan. I don't think USC will have their feet under them by then.
Yeah. I mean, if we're in the sake of keeping this kind of quick here, 9-5 or 9.5, right? So they have to go 9-3 or 10-2. They're definitely, we gave them a loss to Oregon. They're not beating Ohio State with this team after losing the last.
Here's the thing though. Ryan Day has never beat Michigan ever. And if he doesn't, he's going to get fired this year.
But
this year, lost Harbaugh.
They lost Harbaugh. They lost McCarthy. They lost Corum.
And it's at Columbus.
Yes. I'm taking the under on Michigan for those 3 losses: Texas, Oregon, Ohio State.
100% agree. The rest of their schedule: USC in Michigan, Minnesota in Michigan, at Washington, Illinois in Michigan, at Sparty, which in-state rivalry. Who knows? Michigan State could get up for it. I doubt it.
I still think there's a loss in the middle there somewhere.
Maybe, maybe not. And then we mentioned Oregon coming to Michigan, at Indiana, Northwestern coming to Michigan, and then at Columbus to finish the season.
If they hit the over, it's because they beat Oregon at home or beat Michigan or beat Ohio State on the road. But I think they lose to Texas in the Big House regardless.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Especially week 2 when they don't have their feet underneath of them.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Ohio State is who we're going to talk about next. Win total's 10.5. They have to go 11-1 to go over. They were 11-1 last season. Number 6 ranked transfer class headlined by Caleb Downs, a safety out of Bama, Will Howard, a quarterback out of K-State, who will be starting for them, and Seth McLaughlin, a center out of Bama. They just stole everything from Bama. Notable departures: Julian Fleming, who was, I think, slotted to be their wide receiver 2 this year. He left. And then Kyle McCord went to Syracuse. He's ass. It doesn't matter. Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Hall Jr., and Cade Stover all went to the NFL. Number 5 ranked recruiting class, 4 5-stars, and we know Ohio State's not scared to play freshmen, 14 4-stars. First 3 weeks, Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, all wins. All of those in Columbus. Week 4 at Sparty. I don't think Sparty's going to get that one. Week 5, Iowa comes to Columbus. We gave them that one when we were talking the Iowa schedule. Did we give this one to Oregon? Week 6 against Oregon.
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
We gave the win to Oregon. We did.
We did?
We did.
I don't see it anymore.
Interesting. They have to have one to go over. They can have one loss. If they're going to lose a game on this schedule, it's going to be.
It could be Penn State.
No, they've dogfucked.
They'll be Penn.
Penn State is notoriously crumbled to Michigan and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
They're not good enough. They don't have the players. They don't have the talent.
But they bully everyone else.
Yes, they will beat Penn State at Penn State this year. However, they got the tough end of a schedule at Oregon, at Penn State. Penn State, November 2nd is going to be a whiteout game. It will be.
Yep.
And then they
Michigan at home.
Michigan at home. If they go under, it's because they lose at Oregon and at home against Michigan. I definitely think they only lose one, if not none of those games.
We gave both of those wins to Ohio State when we went over both of those teams. So yeah. I'm saying over. We gave Oregon the win over Ohio State because
we're giving them one loss.
So we're going to give them one loss to Oregon just to stay consistent.
So they'll go over.
Yeah, I think they go 12-0 or 11-1, and my bet is more so on 12-0.
Yeah, and I think Oregon and Ohio State are on a crash course for the Big Ten championship game. I think they're both in the playoffs no matter what, to be quite honest with you.
Unless Michigan rears its ugly head again somehow, but I don't think so.
Correct. Penn State is actually the next team we're going to talk about. Win total 9.5, 58th ranked transfer class. AJ Harris, a cornerback out of Georgia, and Julian Fleming, wide receiver out of Ohio State. They lost King Mack, a safety, and Keandre Lambert Smith, a wide receiver. Olu Fashanu, their tackle, and Chop Robinson, their defensive lineman, both went to the NFL in the first round. 15th ranked recruiting class, no 5-stars, 15 4-stars. Pretty good class. First 5 weeks, West Virginia might scare them, honestly.
That's what I was going to say. My 2 games I think they can lose is West Virginia and Ohio State. Those are games that I think they're going to lose.
Yeah, so let's run through the schedule. At West Virginia week 1, your feet aren't under you. You're traditionally a better team than West Virginia. You're going to be favored there, but Virginia might put up a dogfight week 1, a lot of energy going through. Your systems might not be completely put in there yet. So
it's not a home game.
Yeah, if West Virginia is going to jump you, it's going to be week 1 and not week 5. So could see you there. Bowling Green dub, Kent State dub, Illinois dub, especially because it's at home. UCLA, we've talked about ad nauseum, at home. That's going to be a dub. Then they got to travel all the way across the country to USC. Josh, you think they're losing this one?
That's interesting.
I'm just kind of finding myself buying USC this could bite me in the ass. They could come out and fall on their face and look awful this year. I don't know, but the way they looked in that bowl game, I think we give this one to USC for the pure fact that Penn State's going to have to travel 1,800 miles in 3 time zones. I mean, that's not nothing because they got to go to class on Thursday.
Bullshit. Those guys ain't going to fucking.
It's all online. No, I'm fine with giving USC the win here.
Yeah, and then at Wisconsin, I doubt it, but maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Wisconsin has to find their win somewhere.
Maybe, but I'm going to say again, I doubt it. So I think the only places you can for sure give them a loss is Ohio State. But at USC, at West Virginia could be tough. And then it's the Big Ten. They could just drop one randomly to do it. I mean,
So the only for sure we're giving them is Ohio State. I like giving them one against USC. And then if they drop one to West Virginia or any insert Big Ten team here,
they go
under. But do we want to give them an under when we give them only one for sure loss? I think so. I'm leaning under. I think we have to go with our instincts here, and it's really weird. Penn State could come out and be really good. They've done it in the past. People like Drew Aller for some reason. I don't get it, but they could be a 10-win team. They could be an 11-win team, but it sounds like we're all on the under.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it on paper like this, I could see them going over, but my feeling is they go under and watch it be like the Purdue monster gets them on November 16th.
And they have to go to Purdue, man. And Purdue gets one somewhere every year.
Purdue or Minnesota could be the one we're not seeing. I wouldn't be surprised.
For sure. Final one, USC, win total 7.5. They had the 19th ranked transfer class headlined by Kamari Ramsey, a safety out of UCLA, Easton Arnold, a linebacker out of Oregon State, and Nate Clifton, a D-line guy out of Vandy. I know Vandy football's bad, but he was like a 4-star coming out of high school. He's a 4-star in the portal this year, so the guy can't be that bad. That was USC's big issue last year was their defense. They obviously made a big deal to fix it. Notable departures: Jason Zandamela, he's an offensive lineman. Damani Jackson, a cornerback, and Tackett Curtis, a linebacker, and then obviously Caleb Williams, Marshawn Lloyd, and Brendan Rice all went to the NFL. Handful of other guys also went to the NFL. Number 17 ranked recruiting class, no 5 stars, 13 4 stars.
No 5 stars for USC is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we kind of mentioned this game already, Tyler.
Yeah.
Week 1 versus LSU, neutral site in Vegas.
Yeah. USC is scared. They've been trying to get out of this game for years, even offering the game to other schools to take. And they want out of this game. I'm giving it to them as a loss regardless because they are bitch made.
If you're bitch made that scared, dude.
Well, Miller Moss, like we said, going to be the quarterback. He's been there for 2 years behind Caleb Williams. Looked good in the bowl game. He's not as mobile as Caleb Williams. But, again, your first game, big time game 2, as your first time starting in a meaningful game, like definitely dropping this game here, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then after that, Utah State, maybe they're scary, but they should get the win.
Beat them.
Give credit to USC here. They didn't schedule an FBS team.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, good for y'all. Week 3 at the Big House.
I can see them losing this one. First game in the Big Ten at Michigan. 102,000 fans. Going to be a tough. I
could see a loss.
And it's going to be a packed house. The Big House will be full.
Yeah, this will – I don't know about week 3 anywhere else in the fucking Big Ten, but this will probably be the
this will be on national TV somewhere.
Yeah, big noon kickoff game. something like that.
Versus Wisconsin, I think they get that one by the virtue of Wisconsin having to come to LA. If that was in Wisconsin, I might flip that.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends. I mean, it really does depend on what USC does to find their footing. Bunch of new guys, like we said, with the transfer class, losing a lot of big name guys. So it's going to be who steps up here. You'd like to give them Wisconsin, but like you said, Wisconsin's going to get their win total somewhere.
I think between Wisconsin and then after Wisconsin, they have Minnesota. It's at Minnesota. It should be a win. But then they get Penn State also at home. I think one of those has to go USC's way.
Yeah.
We gave USC the win against Penn State.
Correct. So maybe we just give Wisconsin that because, again, Wisconsin has to find their win somewhere. And I think they get one, but not both of those.
Sure.
Is that fair?
Sure.
Yeah.
At Maryland, and then Rutgers. Tyler, this is the one. Or no, that's UCLA, right? Against UCLA.
That is UCLA.
And which
so
one?
they're at they have Rutgers at home here. This game won't be the night game like the UCLA Rutgers is. But you would think they beat Rutgers at Washington is going to be interesting because we don't know what either of those teams is going to be. Did we give Nebraska this game?
We gave USC this game.
We did.
Because Nebraska's coming out to the West Coast. I think that was kind of our break down the middle. At UCLA, the battle for LA. UCLA always gets up for this every single year.
I don't know. I don't feel
we
like
did say UCLA was going to be bad this year.
Yeah.
So then, devil's advocate, do we want to give them a loss against Washington? Because I feel like they probably drop one of those against the former Pac-12.
I would say at Washington is more likely than
I would agree. I would agree. And then closing the season against Notre Dame in help me out.
Hollywood,
in South Bend.
No, you have this as.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it is in LA. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puts them at 7-5. But there was a lot of those we didn't really feel great about. But also they could lose the battle for LA. Penn State could get them.
This is my biggest don't touch. Just don't touch this. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I don't disagree. We've said it every time they've come up on somebody else's schedule. We don't know what they're going to be.
Yeah, don't touch USC because there's a chance they beat Wisconsin and Penn State, especially because they're both at home.
And Michigan.
I think there's a chance they could what we did is we have them 7 in.
Have them 7-5. We have them right on the line. But we convinced ourselves about a lot of them.
But if you asked me tomorrow, I guarantee I'd look at the schedule and maybe they're 11-1.
I don't know about that, but maybe 9-3.
That's it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Maybe 9-3.
I'm just saying,
if you told me that they went 9-3 against this schedule, I wouldn't tell you you're a dumb fuck.
Yeah.
I might be like, maybe
every time I look at the schedule, I'm gonna have a different answer.
The only losses I'm gonna give them for sure is LSU because they're chicken shit and don't want it.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame. And mainly because Notre Dame only has to play 2 games this season, and this is one of them.
I think they're more likely to lose at Michigan than they are at home against Notre Dame. That's just my opinion.
Okay, so I don't disagree. So that's 3. That's 9-3. Tyler, you say don't touch. I would agree, but the fact that we had to talk ourselves into a lot of the losses, I think over. But 8-4.
Well, I'm kind of the other way. We could be giving them too much credit for what they are. We know LSU is a L. We know one of Michigan, Notre Dame is an L.
I think they're both L's.
And I lean more so that way as well. So that's 3 losses right there. And then you have a team that we know nothing about that has to just lose 2 more games the rest of the season. If anything,
And they're playing against a lot of teams that we know nothing about.
It's weird to say.
And then I'm going to come back to the battle for LA, because no matter how, it's like the Cy-Hawk game. No matter how bad those teams are, one could be a national championship hopeful. The other one could have 0 wins. They get up for that game, and it is a 6-point game. It doesn't matter.
My gut's telling me over. My heart's telling me under.
Stay away.
Stay away.
Stay away. Well, boys, we have ran. That took us a little while. We ran long, a little bit longer episode this week. Next week we're going to do the ACC is the plan. So we'll have a little fewer opinions, I would assume, on the ACC. Maybe a few less teams.
This episode of Show Me the Money is brought to you by Tavern Sports, your place to get fun sports content, sportsbook lines and parlays, and of course food reviews with Big E's Ballpark Bites. You can follow Tavern Sports on Instagram at Tavern Sports 2023, TikTok at Tavern.Sports, and Twitter at Tavern Sports 23.
We don't have locks for the guys that aren't here because we just don't.
Yeah, and that's just fine. Here's what I'm going with. I'm going with the Memorial. I am going to go with Xander Schauffele, top 10, including ties, minus 110.
Where do you find the including ties portion?
If you get them before the tournament starts, it's including ties.
Oh, bet. Then that makes
unless it is specifically deemed otherwise.
Then mine's even better. I'm taking Oberg top 20 minus 105. He burnt me 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna ride with him again.
I lost it. Where'd it go? I also had a golf pick, and I can't find it anymore. What's Morikawa top 20 right now?
Minus 190.
Minus 190. Can't take it.
Oh, shoot. What about top 10?
Plus 130. You want to take a plus 130?
I don't. Ethan's going to have to cut this.
You can get Scotty top 5 minus 115. Do you want to take Scotty?
No, we'll just go to the finals here. We're going to take – where do we going to go here? You know what? Let's just take the Mavericks plus 6.5 first game.
Okay. Don't hate that.
All right,
minus 114.
The 3 locks you've got right now, if you parlay them, of Oberg, top 20, Schauffele, top 10, and Mavericks plus 6.5 on Thursday night. That's plus $5.99 for a little 3-piece nugget.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Alrighty.
But there you all go. We gave you some futures. We talked anything we know even half a shit about this week. We gave you
a lot of bit about shit we don't know.
Honestly. So we gave you the picks. Go place those bets, and don't forget to show me the money.
Show me the money!